This is Don Robinson with Don Rod Barbecue. You are watching the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast.
Welcome to Black Smoke Barbecue. We are a collaborative group that focuses on different aspects of barbecue from pitmasters from all across North America. Barbecue is a culture, and we discuss topics, ideas, and the methods of it on the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast. Our mission is to spotlight those lesser-known content creators in backyard barbecue, catering, food truck operations, as well as the African-American experience in modern-day barbecue. Sit back, relax, listen, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back. We are back with the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast, where, you know what, hey, I got my man Brandon on the show with me today. BKC Cooks, it's me and you tonight, baby. What's up?
That's all we need, baby. That's all we need, man. And they can't handle that much of me, you dig?
Hey, man.
I'm talking a bunch of mess. What's going on, man? Good to see you as always, brother.
Dude, hey, we here, man. We in the house. You know, I'm always, I'm in the presence of that luxurious Maine. So, I mean, we all good,
brother.
bro.
I mean, you know, soak it all in. That's all I could tell you, bro. There's plenty for everybody to get a little taste, you dig? It is quite
So what
fantastic.
you got going on new, man?
A bunch of pits.
Yeah.
A bunch of pits. I finally got my my Alamo 120 from Fogues. That's a big Argentinian joint. Same thing you have. So it came in. I was out of town this weekend. When I came home, it was taking up the entire garage. So I gotta get that thing out the way because Mama giving me the side eye. But I have another one coming Thursday apparently, and two more soon after that. So yeah, my toolbox is gonna be busy, but I ain't mad about it.
Man, hold up. So you the joke is always, hey, all these grills showing up at, Barbecue Boulevard, but bro. So you got 3 grills coming, 4 grills coming, 5 grills coming, 6. Man, what you got? What's coming besides the Alamo that you got?
2
Top
pellets,
secret.
2 pellets that I cannot disclose yet.
Okay.
I got a little baby miniature grill that someone sent me. That's actually in the garage. I kind of forgot about that. And then there is one that is top secret that I can't talk about. I think you have a clue what that is, though.
So it's like G14.
G14 classified.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, man, I know you've been on the road, getting up and going on vacation and going out and doing some business and, this and that and the other. And I know you go look for that barbecue in all these different places, man. Did you come across any great barbecue in anywhere you went to go visit?
Believe it or not, I found some amazing barbecue at the drag race. I got footage of it. We might be able to put it in the B-roll here if our wonderful producer Charlie is kind enough to throw that in. But this outfit, Levy, who caters or does like concessions for a lot of stadiums and places like that, they had a barbecue stand. But dude, they had one of those big rotisserie pits with the cages. There's a bunch of cages going around on a spit. And they were doing beef ribs, and brother,
Nice. They
had bags and bags of post oak. And I was teasing Jeff because I was like, dude, they got all the post oak you're looking for out here, man. And I have to be honest with you, it's not a slight on that operation, but most concession food I'm just not really impressed with. But they were doing it right, bro.
Man, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It was actually priced really well. They were giving you a beef rib, man, for $29
What?
at a drag race. Now,
Are we talking like the big beef ribs, the plate ribs?
Yeah, like the ones we get here, a dino rib.
Yeah, like you go play baseball with the bones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, $29. And, this is the same place where a beer was $13, a can of beer. And so that was the deal to be had at that track, man. So I was like, yeah. Okay. I was like, I see what y'all doing here. So yeah, everywhere I go, man, I'm gonna find something. I'm leaving here with something. You dig?
I hear you. Well, I'll tell you what, man, to all of our listeners out there, I know I failed to introduce myself, but I am the Dawgfatha of the Dawgfather's Barbecue YouTube channel. And, I reside right here on Barbecue Boulevard. And like my man, Brandon, we got a few cookers that come through here every now and then. My man, Brandon, has spoke about that Alamo, and we got one here too.
A few. That's what
A
we're
few.
doing.
We got a couple.
Listen. Grillville over here is developing rapidly, but Barbecue Boulevard, come on, man. What are you up to, like 37, 38? Where you at?
Hey, we got a few, man. We got a few.
We're just going to call them a few? Okay.
Yeah, we gonna just say it's a few. We got a few here.
Good
we
enough.
Get them in, we play with them, we give the people what they want, and we move them out and get the next batch in. So, I mean, we got a few.
I can dig it.
Hey, but it's all good. But again, guys, you are hanging out with the crew here, the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast, where, again, barbecue is not only the code that we live by, but it is the culture that we embody.
No
And
doubt.
today, we got a special guest.
Yes, sir.
You remember our guest, don't you, Brandon?
Of course I do.
Yes,
of course
sir.
I do.
Hey, we got our man, Mr. Don Robinson of Don Rob Barbecue. Don, how you doing, brother?
Hey, fellas, how we doing? I'm doing great.
Good deal, man. We living in your world. I told you earlier, man. We trying to be like you.
No, man. I'm trying to be like y'all, man.
You'll regret it.
I'm trying to
You'll
be like
regret
y'all.
it.
I'm just happy to have this opportunity, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, well,
glad to
thank you,
have you,
man. We talked a little bit and chopped it up, and we finally got all the moon stars and quasars to align, and we got you on the show. Now, a lot of people have not heard or may not have heard of Don Rob Barbecue, and actually, I just got to meet you here back in January out here in Houston, Texas. We got to go over and hang out with our sister Erica Robbie of Blue Smoke Blair. And we got to do her Legends of the Barbecue class with her and some other greats. And I got to meet you, man. We got to chop it up, man. And we had a fantastic time.
Indeed.
And little did I know, I didn't know you were so deep into the world of barbecue, man. And I know you over there doing some catering and things of that nature. So why don't you go ahead and let us know, man? Tell us, how did you get into this whole world of barbecue, man, and turn it into a profession?
So I've always had a passion for barbecue. So it goes back many, many years. And so I kind of taught myself, honestly, around when I was 28, 29, I kind of taught myself. I started off with a Weber grill that my mother-in-law gave me. And I kind of taught myself how to grill years ago. And so I had been grilling for many years for family and friends and, our family get-togethers and family reunions and things of that nature for years. And so honestly, just so you guys know, my background is in accounting. So I have an accounting degree from North Carolina A&T State University. And so my background's in accounting, but I've always had a passion for grilling and smoking. So I've always wanted to have my own business, but I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, right? But years ago, I was so busy with my kids, running them to sports events. My son plays football, and my other daughter and my son, they ran track. So I was always heavily involved in sports. But over those many years, like I said, I would grill and smoke for family functions and, of course, for my own family. And I've always had a passion for it. So it just never dawned on me years ago that, hey, I can do this as a business. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. So I had never met Erica Roby. I was first introduced to her for when I saw her on the Food Network show, the Barbecue Brawl.
Yeah.
And
okay.
so I rooted for her. I think it was season 2 of that show, and she actually won it. And so I connected with her on Instagram, right? And to my surprise, and I think I shared this with you, Al, when we were in Houston at her barbecue academy, she connected with me on Instagram, and it blew my mind. And I was like, oh. And then I started liking a lot of her videos and content she would put out there. And then one day she replied back to me, and it freaked me out. Right. And I said, oh my God, Erica just replied back to me. And so we were connected through Instagram for about a year, I guess year and a half. And then she sent me and told me, I want to say it was in August of last year. She said, hey, I think I'm going to do a barbecue academy. Would you be interested? And I was like, yeah, you let me know when and where, and I will be there. And as soon as she sent that information out, I think she emailed it to me. I immediately signed up for the barbecue academy, and like September, I want to say. So as you both know, I flew out. I'm from North Carolina. I reside in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and so I flew out to Houston in January of this year and attended that barbecue academy that weekend, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
And so I just learning what I learned and kind of honing my skills there with Al and Bill and Rashid and Diana Bomb Chica. It was a great weekend. And honestly, it wasn't until I was flying back to North Carolina from that barbecue academy that Monday, because I flew out that Monday morning. And on the airplane, I grew up, a Christian home. So on the airplane, I heard the voice of God said, start your business. Right. And it hit me. And I was like, I thought about it. I was like, yeah, I've been doing this for years. Everybody's told me they enjoy my food. And I was like, yeah, why not? And that was, again, that Monday, which I think was like January 30th or 31st. And so as soon as I got home, guys, I immediately took action. I started putting my business plan together. I reached out to some of my colleagues. I have a best friend. His background is in marketing and advertisement. He has his own company, and I reached out to him. He put me a marketing plan together. I told him what I wanted to do. He put that marketing strategy plan together for me. And I went out and purchased my domain. And I asked him, I was like, hey, have you ever put together a website? He was like, of course. So he helped me put together my website. He helped me put together my logo. And again, like I mentioned, he put together my marketing strategy plan. And within a week, I was up and running. February 7th is when I kicked off my business. And so
Nice.
it's a small catering business right now. What I do is I take orders Monday through Wednesday. I give everyone a chance to get their orders in from my website. And they order from my website, and they have until Wednesday at 8:00 to get their orders in. And what I do is, because I still work full time as an accounting manager for a chemical company in Greensboro, I kind of do this during the weekend. So I deliver the orders to my customers on the weekends. And so ever since I kicked it off, that kickoff weekend was great. I mean, I think February 7th was on a Wednesday. I kind of communicated, I'm open on social media, and I received great response mainly from family and friends originally. And so that kickoff weekend was busy, man, because, it was all new to me, and I learned a lot that weekend, and it was a great experience. So that's pretty much how I got into barbecue, and that's pretty much how my company started, man, pretty much.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's you got that same familiar story, where you get out there in the backyard, you learn, either you are taught by somebody or you self-teach yourself how to do barbecue and whatnot. And of course, everybody, friends, family coming over, eating your food, and everybody's telling you how good it is. And you know what, man, people is eating free barbecue ain't gonna tell you it's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then once you go out there on that leap of faith,
Yep.
and you start charging people for it.
Yep.
Well, now you got people paying you for that barbecue where they don't have to be nice. They don't
Correct.
have to tell you your food is good just because you friend, whatever. That's when you really start to see what you got.
Yep.
You
I
know?
totally agree with that. And honestly, I was nervous because like you said, your family, they'll lie to you sometimes and you never really know with family, like if your barbecue is really good or not. So I was like, I'm going to step out on faith. And like you said, people are paying for the barbecue. And one thing I believe in excellent customer service. One thing, I want the feedback, especially from people that I don't know. And so far, I received great responses from people, man. So I'm like, okay, I think I do know what I'm doing. So I'll tell you a funny story. I had never, believe it or not, I know brisket is big in Texas, man, but
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. But it's obviously is not as big here in North Carolina. We're about pork here, whole hog, things like that. So that weekend, I watch a lot of YouTube. Like I said, I taught myself barbecue and how to cook, and I watch a lot of YouTube channels, the mad scientists and everybody. I just soak it all in. And so I was nervous that first weekend because number one, I had never had brisket. And number two, I had never cooked a brisket. Right. So I remember watching Mad Scientist, one of his videos, and he said, oh man, I can remember my first brisket I cooked, and he said it was horrible. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? But I went ahead and I knew I could do it. So I just watched as many videos as I could on YouTube. And the Mad Scientist has really a few videos on how to cook brisket. But he really has a really, really good one he made years ago that I watched. And I took notes and I was like, okay, do this. This is how you trim it. This is what you're looking for. This is how you season it, and so on and so forth. So my first weekend when I started my business, I cooked that brisket, man. And again, I was nervous because it was my first one. So I had my wife, because my wife can cook. She actually helps me in the business. She actually handles the sides and desserts for me. And my wife can burn. She can burn. She can cook. So I had my wife taste that brisket, and she had never had brisket either. And she was like, what is this? And I was like, it's a brisket. And I say, how is it really? How is it? She said, oh my God, Don, this is delicious. And so I had a few orders that weekend, that people that ordered brisket, and I specifically asked for the feedback on the brisket, and I got great response on it, man. And every brisket I've cooked since then, I've received great responses on it. I know it's not the Texas brisket. I know you guys know how to do brisket, but people are loving it, man. And I'm like, okay. And so yeah, that was a funny story, man, that I wanted to share. But
That's
so
good
far,
stuff.
the business is going well. Like you said, ever since that weekend, man, business has been steady, and I'm enjoying it, man, so far.
I love it.
And the thing is because you hear a lot of people say things about, Texas brisket, and you know what? Yeah, we love our beef out here,
Right.
and we do. But man, as long as you make what you make and you like it, and your family likes it, and then in turn your customers like it, that's all that really matters, man. I mean, there's a million different ways to make a brisket. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be the quote unquote Texas way. Just do what's good for you, what works for you, what you like, what your customers like, and the rest of it will take care of itself. But I am curious. So you made your first brisket. Let's go back to your very first brisket.
Okay.
You did your research. You got on YouTube University and checked everything out. What was your first rub of choice that you decided to put on that first brisket?
Yep.
Be careful, Don. He's setting you up.
I know he set me up. I'm ready. I'm ready for Al, man. I'm ready for the Dawgfatha, man. No, I watched and I have it before I watched that episode you guys did with Erica. I think I did. I had it. So like I said, I watched a lot of YouTube, and I came across Harry Sue on YouTube. and I saw that he had his own rubs. So my first brisket, I used Harry Sue's brisket rub.
Was it the
And
moolah?
yeah,
Yeah.
and so that's what I use, man. And because I'm afraid to change it now because I'm getting such good response on it from my customers. But that's what I use for my brisket rub, man. I use Harry Sue's brisket rub on my brisket when I
And
season.
that dude, man, he's an awesome guy. Really cool, down to earth. And it's kind of like when I first met him. Um, I I don't think I ever really get starstruck by any celebrity or anything like that. But Harry, I had been watching when he was on the Pitmasters show where they were doing all the guys in the competition world, and he was on there. And so for me, when I met him, it was young in my young YouTube days or whatever, but it was getting to cook with him.
Mm,
And you meet these people and you have your, I guess, your view of them,
yeah,
and now you're like, okay, am I going to be able to make anything that's worthy?
right.
And Harry was there, and we had a fantastic time, and he gave us a bunch of his different rubs, and I remembered that beef rub, and
Yeah,
it's called the moolah.
yeah.
And he had said, it was funny. I don't know if this is really why he named it or whatever, but he was like, because it just wins money. So it was like moolah.
Hey, it is definitely money because I tell you, man, I have not received one complaint about my briskets, man, and that's my go-to rub, and so I'm gonna stick with it until I decide to try something and test something else, test something else out. So that's what I use, man, and
Hey, I
it's
don't
been
blame
it's
you, man.
been
I got
great.
some of it right here. But Brandon said I was setting you up. Now, the reason I asked that
Here we go.
is because, most people when they're starting out, and dude, I did it too, is I don't know what it is, but that Montreal steak seasoning, you know,
Oh,
Montreal steak seasoning was like a go-to rub for a
yeah,
long time, in my very first few briskets, whatever. And
yeah,
I think because, I like the salt and pepper, method, but
yeah,
something about the Montreal where it's got the different granules of salt, the different sizes of the granules of salt and everything in it. It was just really good. It gave a great flavor and it gave
yeah,
a pretty good bark. And
yeah.
so a lot of people when they're first starting out, Montreal steak seasoning is just one of
That's what they
those.
use.
So I was curious if you started with that as well. That's where that came from.
Nah,
Yeah, I think that's a natural. That's a natural choice, man. Because if you've ever had it on other cuts of beef, it just complements beef so well
yeah, it
It
does.
that when you
does.
see
It
that big
does.
old hunk of beef, you're like, I know exactly what to put on this. Montreal steak seasoning. Like, say, I did it. Trust me, I did it, and it
I
made
hear
sense,
you.
and it was damn good too.
Damn good.
But now, Don, before we
Yeah,
get too far away from it, I want to preach a little bit
go ahead, preach.
about what you said, and I want you to help me preach because
Yes, sir.
when you spoke about starting your business,
Yes, sir.
you took massive action,
Yes.
and I think most people don't realize that in a venture like what you stepped into, there's no piecemealing it. You have to make a decision, and you have to say, "This is what I'm doing," and you have to. I don't like to use the word pull the trigger, but you got to set that thing off, man.
Yes.
And I think very often people are too afraid to take a chance on themselves. So I know what you said your inspiration was, and that the good Lord spoke to you, and I believe you when you say it. But even for a lot of people, hearing that, they don't always obey.
Yeah.
What in your gut told you say, hey, I'm throwing a switch, I'm doing this thing, I'm going all in?
Yeah, I forgot. Good question, man. I forgot to share with you. So it kind of started with, and I know she's gonna get a kick out of this when she hears this. So it really started that Sunday. When we were all taking pictures and networking and things like that.
Yeah.
And Erica and Erica's mom and Ron, they took a picture, right? So as they were taking this picture, I went ahead and took a picture of them at the same time. And after I snapped my picture, and the person that was taking their picture, I think it was Corey. finished taking their picture, Erica's mama, she doesn't know she did, but she said, I want to make sure my boyfriend got a picture of me. And then she looked at me and I'm like, what? Right? Right? So, and she's the sweetest. Let me tell you, I love
she's
Erica.
awesome.
She
Her
was.
mom's
She's
awesome.
Oh my God, I love her.
That
mom,
weekend
man.
wouldn't have been the same without her, man.
No, it would not have.
She is awesome.
But after she said that, when I as I was leaving that Sunday, I walked up to her and I gave her a hug and I said, it was great to meet you. And then she said, and this is what kind of started it for me. She said, it was great meeting you too, Don. She said, I'll see you in competitions.
Nice.
And she don't realize when she said it, it hit me.
She spoke on it.
It's like she was speaking in my life, and I had never thought about doing competitions at all, right? And so that kind of got me thinking. And I was like, I wonder why she said that to me. And so, like I said, on the airplane flying back to North Carolina, I was thinking on it, and then that's when I heard God's voice say, start your business. And I didn't want to sometimes people overthink things, and sometimes you can have what's called analysis paralysis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so I said, I'm not going to do that. I know I heard your voice, God. I'm going to do this. And I made up in my mind that next day, I started putting things in action. And from that day, I've been moving ever since. And so you just got to it's a mindset. Once you tell yourself you're going to do it and you're not going to allow anyone to tell you you can't do it, you got to move. And so that's what I did, Brandon. That's what I did, man.
I love it. Hey, I tell you, I'm proud of you for betting on yourself.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Because that's what it takes, man.
Yeah. And I've had fun, man. It's been a great experience. And the thing that's starting to happen for me is my catering events are starting to pick up fast. And so before we hopped on the podcast, I was sharing with Al that on this past Monday, I booked a wedding reception for 150 guests. So that's going to be interesting. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man. But yeah, my catering events are starting to pick up, man, because I can tell the word of mouth is starting to get out there and people are starting to tell people about me. In fact, that catering event for that wedding reception was from someone who ordered barbecue from me and told this individual about me and said, yeah, you need to check out Don Rob Barbecue. He does catering events. And she told him that. And he shared this with me. He was like, I immediately called you, man. He said, I need you. And I was like, no problem. What you need? And he said, I need you on June 30th. You got open space? I was like, I sure do. My calendar's open on that day. And that was it, man. So things are starting picking up for me in the catering world. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, man.
Man, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk some more about how this catering is taking off for you and how you're doing all those things. But tell you what, we're going to take a break right quick, pay a little bills, and we're going to come back with Don Robinson of Don Rob Barbecue on the other side.
We'd like you to meet Sweet Charlene, the barbecue seasoning created from family bonds that is low in sodium but high in flavor. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a seasoned pitmaster. Level up your barbecue game with this dry rub that has amazing taste and great color. Go to EddieWrightBarbecue.com right now and order your choice between the 6-ounce shaker bottle, the 16-ounce bag, or my favorite, the 32-ounce bag, and start rubbing your beef, pork, and poultry the right way.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Black Smoke Barbecue Podcast again, where we are talking with Don Robinson of Don Rob Barbecue. And Don, we were on the other side of the break there. We were talking about you starting your business and everything, and getting into the catering, and how you just picked up a great gig, and by word of mouth. A lot of small businesses rely on word of mouth. So if you guys are out there listening, if you go to a place and it's fantastic, great, share it with somebody, especially these small businesses. Make sure you share that information out so other people can get in there and check them out and give them some business. But Don, so here we go. Now you started this business. We're small scale.
Yes, sir.
And we're cooking on Weber kettles and char grillers and small units that the average backyard person that gets out there and does their cooking. You're using them. You're utilizing these things. So now we got a gig for 150 people.
Yes, sir.
So how are we going to pull? What's the strategy for this one, man? I want to hear how we going to make this work.
So, that's a good question, man. Yeah, I just knew that, like I said, the word of mouth, I could tell that the word is starting to get out there. And so I knew a couple of weeks ago, I was like, okay, I have to plan for bigger events, if you will. And I have to be able to scale up and have the cooking capacity that I need. So it was about 3 weeks ago. So about 3 weeks ago, let me back up. I met this excellent pitmaster. We connected again on Instagram. His name is Chris Joyner out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I reached out to him and said, hey, man, I just started my business. I love what you're doing. I'd love to just talk to you, pick your brain a little bit. And this guy called me back the next day. And we talked. We immediately connected. We talked like an hour and a half on that first call, and he gave me tremendous nuggets of what to do, what to look out for, what you need. And during that conversation, he said, hey, if you ever are in the market for a custom smoker, I got a guy in Charlotte that I can take you to. Now, mind you, I've never met Chris. And he said, in fact, when you're ready, I'll go with you to this guy I know and introduce you to him. So that's when we talked. It was probably 2 weeks after I started the business when we had this conversation. And so 3 weeks ago, because I started thinking, I was like, I'm going to need more cooking capacity eventually. So let me get a plan together. So 3 weeks ago, I reached out to Chris and said, hey, Chris, I think I'm ready to meet your guy. He was like, okay, let me reach out to him. He called me back and said, hey, you're available Friday? I was like, yes. He said, okay, I'll meet you at his house. Here's his address. Went down to Charlotte and met him. And I told him what. And Chris told me, he was like, look, whatever you want, he can build it. So I went down. That was the first time Chris and I met face to face. Great guy. And then I met his grill guy. Smoker guy. And I told him what I wanted. He said, no problem. And I kind of went with the specs that Chris has. Chris has a custom smoker made by this guy. It's an offset smoker, but he can also grill on it. And then he also told me, hey, because he caters as well. He said, hey, what I do when I'm going to catering events, big catering events, when I'm done cooking, what I'll do is load my food. I can load my food in my smoker. And I had Mr. Barnett run a gas line in my smoker. And what I do is that gas line I hook up to a propane tank. And so when I'm not using my smoker, I use it as a food warmer. And I was like, I kind of like that idea. And so the specs of my smoker is kind of similar to Chris's. But I asked this guy, I was like, hey, because, again, like I said, I would do family reunions and things like that. We get together and, I have a huge family and we love to drop fish like most Black families do. We drop fish, baby. So, I asked Mr.
Wait a minute. Huh? You don't tell me you didn't put a fryer on that smoker, man.
I asked Mr. Barnett, can he put me 2 burners on there? He said, I sure can. So he's going to put me 2 burners on there for me to allow me to drop some fish and chicken whenever I need to.
Yes,
I'm running that same gas line to use it as a food warmer. It's an offset smoker. and it's going to be a grill. He's going to put me a grill basket. He's going to put me a basket on there, my propane tanks. He's going to put me a basket on there for my splits, so I can store my splits. He's putting me a shelf on the front. It's not a shelf, a table on the front, but it's going to have 2 pull-out grill grates that's going to pull out, and the size of it, he said, is going to be like a 250 gallon. So I was like, perfect. So he said, you caught me at the right time, because I was just about to go back and leave the country and go back to Belize, because he had been in Belize for a couple of months. And he said, I tell you what, when I come back from Belize, I'm going to jump on your custom smoker and I'll have it ready for you in early June. And I said, perfect. So the timing of me receiving my custom smoker and this wedding reception for this catering event, which is the end of June, it's just perfect timing. So that's what I'm going to use, Al, to kind of handle this wedding reception that I just booked on Monday. So,
well, I tell you what. So you got the 250 ordered.
Yeah.
You might as well go ahead and get your order in for that next 500.
You know what? I was, man, you in my head, man.
It's inevitable.
So,
It's inevitable.
I've been thinking about that too. And so, I've been thinking about it as well, because I know as soon as I get this 250, I know I'm going to need even more capacity. If things continue to go on the trajectory that is going on, I know eventually I'm going to need even more cooking capacity. So it's on my radar, Al. I'm ready. I'm planning.
Man, so I hear that the first trailer smoker that I actually ended up having built sounds a lot like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a 250. It was a little bit bigger. It had the the horizontal and the upright, but
right.
It had the fish or the burners on it and the whole nine. And yeah, man, you took me back with that one.
Okay, man. Good.
So I got a quick question for you, Don.
Yes, sir.
I subscribe to your emails and updates and all that good stuff, man. And I see a lot of positive reviews on your food.
Yeah.
Be honest with you, I don't think I've seen anything that wasn't like a top review. But what would you say is what are you getting the best response from out of everything that you've been offering?
Well, people love like I mentioned, people love my brisket. And so, like I said, I don't know if it's because they've never had brisket, because again, North Carolina is not really a beef state like Texas. We're about the hog and the pork. But I get great responses on my brisket, but my ribs and my chicken, I really get great responses on that. And as well, like I said, my wife helps me and she kind of handles the side, and my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter does homemade. She does the macaroni and cheese for me from scratch. So I get great responses on that. And my wife does my other sides, and my wife can bake her butt off. My wife can just cook, period. But she taught herself how to bake during COVID, man. When we were all cooped up in the house, she kind of, like I did, my wife watches a lot of YouTube videos, and she kind of watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to make pound cakes. And so she started baking during COVID when we were stuck in the house. And she became really good at it, man, so quickly. And so I get great responses on my wife's desserts as well. So really everything I've provided to my customers, man, like you said, I haven't received one bad, which is surprising. I know I'm going to get it one day, but I have not, thank God. I have not received any bad comments on anything I've made and provided to my customers. So, but I would say my most popular ones are probably my ribs and my chicken.
Hey, but
I've been doing those for years. Brisket is fairly new to me. Like I mentioned, I cooked my first brisket during that opening weekend. So, but I can tell I'm getting better and better with my brisket, man. The more I do it, the better I'm getting, and I'm like, oh man, yes, I'm loving this. So that's man.
So Don, I was gonna say, just remember, whenever you do, and it's not if, it's when, because everybody gets it. When you do get your first negative, comment or whatever, don't look at it as negativity. Just look at it as opportunity.
Yeah,
You know,
most definitely.
and I
Yeah,
think you have that right mindset that I don't think that that's going to be something for you that's going to
nah.
destroy you. It's going to be something you're going to look at like, okay, take it as a challenge and move forward with it.
Oh, most definitely, man. Like I said, I want the feedback, and I truly tell people, don't worry about hurting my feelings. Tell me what you really think, and everybody tells me. And I'm telling you, the food is good, man. So I know it's going to happen, but I want that feedback because you learn. You don't treat it as a failure. It, like you said, it's an opportunity. And so when I do get that bad comment, I'll probably reach out to that person and say, "Hey, tell me exactly what you didn't like," because that's the kind of feedback you want. That's how you
Yes.
grow.
Yes.
That's how you improve. You want that feedback, right? So I don't want to say I'm looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to it. If that makes sense.
One of my buddies, man, that he passed away earlier this year, and had a restaurant here, and that's exactly how he approached it. Is whenever there was that bad feedback, it was, hey, he would reach out to whoever it was and, hey, I'm sorry that you had a bad experience. What exactly didn't you like? This, and he just tried his best to take care of it going forward. He looked at it as that opportunity, so I'm not worried about you, man. I know you're going to take care of that, but I got to ask you something else though, because I'm, looking at your website and we see your menu and, and all of that. And, we talked about the fish frying and, we got the Southern cooking, going on there. So Mexican street corn salad is
I love it.
on your menu as a side. And you already spoke about it. You already said, that your wife and your daughter's doing side dishes, whatever. So I'm guessing maybe they're handling this, but I'm just curious, where did that come from?
No, I actually handle that one. That's
Okay.
That's the side I handle. So I again, like I mentioned, I watch a lot of YouTube channels, and I came across, I can't remember who I was watching that day, but they made Mexican street corn, and I was like, man, that looks good. I'm gonna try that one day. This is about 2 or 3 years ago, and I tried it, and I did it exactly like they did it on the video, and it blew my mind. I was like, this is delicious.
Some good stuff.
So when I was putting my menu together, I was like, I think I might want to add this to my menu. So that's where it came from, Al. I just tried that recipe a few years ago. I fell in love with it. I just like the flavors of it, man. And it's just something different that I had never heard of it until I saw that video. I had never heard of Mexican street corn. And I was like, what is it? But I tell you, when I tried it, man, I was like, oh my God, where has this been my whole life? So that's how that came about, man. That's how that came about.
That sounds almost like that moment of, where were you and what do you remember about when you fell in love with barbecue?
Yeah, man. But I handled that one. That's the one. Well, I do the corn on the cob, obviously, because I like to grill that. I like to grill. I buy the natural, like the corn husk and the husk, the corn on the cob and the husk. And so I grill that. I handle those two sides. But all the other sides, I think my wife handles, except for the macaroni and cheese. My oldest daughter, she does it for scratch for me. So, yeah.
That's good stuff, man. So you were speaking about the pitmaster, Chris, who kind of took you under his wing.
Yeah.
And I know that, you met some greats when we were together there at the Barbecue Academy. Talk to us about the barbecue community as a whole and how it's embraced you.
So I'm going to take you back to Houston again at Erica's Barbecue Academy. That Friday night, I was, number one, like I said, I love Erica. And so when she walked in, and I don't get, like you said, I don't get starstruck. I was actually starstruck when Erica walked into that tent that night. But before she walked in, I was having a conversation with you guys, and Al, I specifically remember our conversation, and I was sharing with you how Erica and I connected on IG, and how I was shell shocked when she sent me a reply on Instagram. And Al, you told me that night, hey man, I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna find in the barbecue community. You're gonna find that it's a family.
Yes.
And that you're going to come across people that you may be shell shocked, but they're going to be willing to help you. And I heard you you told me that, Al. I don't know if you remember you told me that, but you told me that Friday night. And that has been it started in Houston at that barbecue academy. Man, we got along so great. People flew in from everywhere, and it was like we all knew each other like for years. It was a great weekend. And from that weekend, my experience as I'm starting to meet more Pitmasters and other people like you guys probably saw Louis Donald, a Sweet Lou's Barbecue out of Charlotte, throws an event called the Carolina Barbecue Fest every year. This year was the third year, right? And so I had an opportunity to meet a lot of different Pitmasters at this event. And every single person I met, man, like you said, Al, you told me that night, it's like a family, man. It's like I can't explain it, but I've just had a great experience meeting everybody. And I'm looking forward to meeting more and more people, because it's like everybody's there for each other. Everybody's there to help you. They'll answer your questions that you may have. And so I am loving being introduced to this barbecue community, man, because it really truly is a family. It really is.
Yes, sir.
And so Erica flew in. I saw, because I have been going this, like I said, this year was the third year of that event, but I had been to the other events the prior 2 years as well, but I went as a guest. So when I saw they were flying Erica in, I was like, oh my God. So I reached out to Erica and I was like, hey, I see you coming to Charlotte to the Carolina Barbecue Fest. I said, hey, I tell you what, I said, if you need help, you let me know. And sure enough, she reached back out to me and said, yes, if you don't mind helping me, do you mind coming to Charlotte to help me? And I was like, I'm there. So that Friday night, I helped Erica they brought her in to do that crawfish broil.
Yeah, I saw y'all cooking up those crawfish.
That looked like a lot of fun.
We had so much fun. I had met Brian Furman. Like I said, he's been there every year. All 3 years, Brian has been there. But the first year he was there, I met him, and his food was awesome. I was like, oh my God, if I can ever get my food to this level. And so I met him 3 years ago, and then he came back the second year. He remembered me from meeting him the first year. And then this past year, Erica mentioned that she knew Brian, but they had never met. So that night was the first night that Brian Furman and Erica met. And so like I mentioned, I got a chance to meet Louis Donald of Sweet Lou's Barbecue that night, who kind of organizes this event. And you guys probably saw the video where Erica had us do this crawfish challenge, where you put like a crawfish on your drink.
Yep.
And so you have to drink the drink without having the claws pinch you. So that was fun.
Yeah, I saw y'all. Everybody was
yeah. So, but Brian and Lou, great guys. And but yeah, I met a bunch of different Pitmasters at that event, man. And like I said, man, everybody has been so welcoming and been so nice. And like I said, it's a barbecue community. It's a barbecue family, man. I can truly say that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah, I when I saw y'all down there, man, and I had even responded to your post. I told this man, it looked like y'all had a ball.
We had a ball,
big time.
I tell folks, man, get to some of these festivals, because it's good people, it's good food, it's a good time. And, like we were just talking about with the people that are in this community, man, I've never run into a jerk. Like, everybody is open and welcoming. The people that you see on TV or you see that's popular on social media or wherever you know them from, chances are, man, if they have a second to talk to you, they're going to speak to you, and they're going to be super gracious. They'll tell you whatever you want to know.
Absolutely.
I highly encourage folks to get out to these festivals, man, because you can meet the people that you want to meet, and man, you
Yep.
might get a little nugget, and you're going to have great food. It's going to be a good time, and even the people who are there attending, everybody's there to have a good time, man. And
Yep.
like I said, y'all look like y'all had a ball, man. I hate I missed it. And what's going to be your next venture out as far as festivals or appearances or anything like that?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, Chris Joyner, the pitmaster in Charlotte, when we first met, well, during that first phone conversation we had, he told me about this event in a small town in South Carolina. I think the name of the city is Blinken. And he was telling me about this Black Pitmaster barbecue competition that they have every year that he had been doing for years. And he said, man, if you ever do competition, I would highly recommend you do this one. And I was like, okay, good to know. So he started posting here the last couple of weeks this competition. I think it's called Country Style Competition or something like that. And so I reached back out to him and I was like, hey, I remember you telling me about this. And again, like I did with Erica, I was like, hey, I'd love to attend it. I said, if you need help cooking or anything, let me know. I'm there for you. And sure enough, he called me last week, I want to say, and said, hey, one of my team members can't make it. If you're still available, I'd love to have you on the team to help me, cook. And I was like, done. So it's this huge, and he told me it's grown over the years. And he told me right now, it's like thousands of people that come to this competition that weekend. And he said, the thing you're going to like about it, man, and the thing I love about it is it's a whole bunch of Black pitmasters that fly in from different parts of the country just to come to this competition. And it's a big deal from my understanding. He said, you're going to love seeing all these Black pitmasters. You're going to love meeting them. He said, I'm going to tell you right now, we talk a little smack, every once in a while to each other. But he said, it's all in fun. And he said, you're going to just love it. He said, you got to go. He said, so if you're available, yes, I would love for you to go down with me and help me cook. And so I'm looking forward to going to this Black Pitmaster competition in Blinken, South Carolina on June the 15th. Let me go ahead and throw a plug in there for it. And I think it's called Country Style Competition, if I'm remembering.
You know what? I'm looking at it now, Don. It's the Country Style Cook-Off.
Okay, there it is. Yes.
Yeah, that's my brother Art Fennell. If y'all aren't following Art Fennell on YouTube, you need to start now. That brother does amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
And he has great content. I'm going to tell you what, I don't know Art, never spoken to him or anything, but I feel like I know him and the whole crew because, bro, when I tell you they hang out and cook, and I mean, brother, do they do it? They do it, man. And I had no idea they had this going on. But I might have to ease my way on down there,
Come
man.
on down, man.
That looks like that's going to be a party right there, bro.
I'm looking forward to that event. I'm just so excited about it. So yeah. If you can come, man, come on through. Come on through.
I'm going to try my best on that one.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, man. And you say you don't know Art Fennell, but we might have to change that, B.
Hey, man, make the introduction, bro, because like I said, they gets it in, man. Like I met old Uncle Jism, who I know hangs out with Art all the time. I met him at Auntie Delilah's event last fall.
Okay.
And he cooked up a storm, man, and talked a bunch of trash, But,
right.
He good folks, man. But yeah, man, I definitely like to get that introduction and see what them cats is doing, man. Because like I say, they get it in, bro. I mean,
it sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So, hey, but you know what, Don? Man, we've had you here for almost an hour, man. We've been Chopping it up, man. We've been chopping it up over here, and man, I don't know where this hour went because it seemed like we just sat down and just started talking.
True.
But hey, so you shared with us about you got that inspiration. You came down, you talked to a lot of fantastic people in Houston, and you spoke about the family, which I mean it really is. Even a lot of people that were in the class,
Yeah.
I still talk to this day.
Yeah.
We're shooting messages and stuff back and forth on IG and all kinds of
Yep.
things and keeping up with each other and all of that. And it's just been fantastic, which is a testament to, again, how it's a community that, you embrace each other from all different walks of life and you become family. Now, you've stepped out on that leap of faith, started your business. Things are going off, pretty well right now. And you're starting to boost it up. Got that 250 ordered, and we already talked about maybe the 500 is going to be on the way after. But there's going to be people out here listening to you.
Yeah.
And you're going to be their inspiration.
Yeah.
People out there that are going to want to, do their own thing for barbecue and become, take their passion and turn it into a business. So for that next person out there listening, what would you say to them? If they were wanting to get started in this world of barbecue and make it into a profession, man, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would tell them that don't be afraid to bet on yourself, to count on yourself. Believe in yourself. You can do it. And all it takes is just taking that first step. If you're willing to take that first step, everything else will happen for you. And so what I've learned is, as I've been going through this experience of, upstarting this small business, I would tell them as well, if they wanted to do what I'm doing, I would tell them what I've learned so far. Preparation is key. Preparation is key. Planning and preparation is key, right? So I would share that with them. So as you're planning your orders and as you're planning for your catering events, make sure, and even if you have to write it down, make sure you plan and that you prep your food early, right? It's gonna save you tremendously if you do that. And then the next thing I would tell them, obviously, is with food prices the way that they are, watch your food costs. Vital. If you plan on having a successful business, you have to watch your costs. And so it's been interesting to me. And I kind of had an advantage because, like I mentioned earlier, my background's in accounting. I worked for Fortune 500 companies for over 25 plus years. So obviously, accountants, we watch everything financially, basically. So I kind of had an advantage with my background in accounting. And so I know cost management is key to any successful business. So there are some things that I want to get and that I know I need for my business, but you have to like I said, you have to watch your costs. You have to determine what do you really need right now to do what you need to do. And eventually, because I knew when I started the business, I knew I was going to need more cooking capacity, right? I just knew that eventually I would. So I just couldn't afford it at that time. So now that I'm in a better position, I can afford, to get me a bigger smoker. So as you're watching your costs, I would tell people, don't worry. Well, not worry. What's the right word I'm trying to say? You may not be able to afford it at that moment. So worry about the things you can control. And eventually you'll get to the point where you will be able to afford certain things for your business. And obviously it depends on your goals, your business goals. But me personally, I intentionally wanted to start small like I am and then scale up my business as I went along. Number one, because I'm still working a full-time job. but I would tell people, watch your costs. And then the fourth thing I would tell them is networking. Build relationships with people as much as possible. You can't be afraid to talk to people. You got to push your business, your own business. You got to put it out there yourselves. You got to put the work in. And one thing I did when I started, I carry business cards with me everywhere now for my business. I'm at a gas station. I'm at a grocery store. I'm anywhere. I'm walking up to people saying, hey, you like barbecue? I sure do. Hey, I just started this business. Here's my business card. You ever need any barbecue? You reach out to me. And guess what? Doing that a few times has actually brought me business, right? I can remember I handed my card. No, I was at a gas station and I walked in. I had on my apron and I was cooking that day. And the girl at the counter, the cash register, she said, you cooking? No, she thought I worked at a restaurant. I was like, no, I have my own barbecue business, right? And she was like, huh, okay. And so I walked out of the gas station, right? I got in my car. I started to drive back home. And then God said, you didn't give her a business card. I did a U-turn, went back to the gas station. I gave her a business card. No, she wasn't even at the counter at the time. So I gave it to her colleague. And I was like, hey, do you mind giving this business card to your colleague? And he's like, sure. Before I got home, guys, she called me. She said, hey, I got this whole turkey. You know how to smoke turkeys? I was like, yeah, I sure do. She said, do you mind smoking this turkey for me? I was like, I can do it for you. So just by listening to that inner voice that you will have, listen to your inner voice and just take action. Just like on that flight from Houston coming back home to North Carolina, I heard God say, start your business. And I took action. So as guys and females are starting their businesses, don't be afraid to do what you need to do to count on yourself. Just do it, right? And I promise you, God will put people in your life that will help you accomplish your goals. I promise you.
There you go.
And that would be my advice to people.
There you go. I hear that, man. Just sometimes we got to get out of our own way. Is what it comes down to.
Yep.
And you are absolutely a testament to that, man.
Thank you, man.
But Don, got to ask you one last question before we get ready to get out of here.
Okay.
And this is a layup. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Again, we had I had the privilege of meeting you at Erica's event here in January. And you've gone on and done some big things here. Are you going to be at Erica's event next year? And
man, what?
Are you going to be teaching brisket?
Oh,
wait, man! Don't put me out there like that.
I was gonna say, he ran you right out there in front of the train, didn't he?
Erica's gonna call me and she said, "You know what? That's funny you say that, Al." When I told Erica I was coming to her event that she had in January, I replied to one of her content posts on Instagram, and it was about her event. It was about the Barbecue Academy. And I said, oh my God, because I had already registered. And I said, I can't wait. And she replied back, she said, I'm going to put you, like she told you on one of your videos, Brandon, I'm going to put you to work.
Oh, right? You do.
And I said, you know what? Little Sweat ain't never hurt a black man. So if you're going to put me to work, cool. So I enjoy it. I love Erica, as you can tell. But
she's fantastic.
If she asked me to, I will do it. I think there are probably other people that could probably teach it better than me, but I would be willing if she asked me. Yeah, I would do it. I would share my experience and my knowledge with anyone because I think that's important. I mean, you guys did it for me when I was out there that weekend. You guys shared a lot of knowledge with me about different things. So I think it's an obligation to share your knowledge with people, man. So I wouldn't have a problem doing that. But yes, to answer your first question, man, as many times Erica have this event, I'm gonna be at Erica because she calls me family and she's family to me. And like I said, her mom calls me boyfriend. I call her girlfriend now. And so, I gotta see my girlfriend, man. So, I can't miss my girlfriend. So I gotta fly out to that event every time.
Man, I tell you what, she was absolutely awesome. And like I said earlier, that whole weekend wouldn't have been the same without Erica's mom there. I mean, she was so, but I'll share this with you too. What was funny was we were standing there that Saturday evening, when we finished up all the cooks and, this and that. We had all the fire pits going and everybody had a little something in the cup, and we just hanging out and just fellowshipping, having a great time. And Erica's mom came over there and there was a group of us and I don't remember exactly how we got onto it, but she went around the group, and she was asking, how old are you? How old are you? How old are you? How old are you? And she got to me and she said, how old are you? She's like, man, she's like, oh, y'all over here. Hell, I still got to spell stuff around y'all.
I remember.
Oh man, I just thought that was so hilarious. But no, she was absolutely just fantastic, man.
She was great, man.
Anything that we needed that weekend, she was on the spot. Her dad too. I want to give props, give him his props too, because he was out there helping just as much. Yeah. But Erica's mom is definitely a character, and love her to death, man. Love her. I can't wait to get back. I told Erica, I'm like, man, hey, say less. I'm there. You have an event, man. We there.
We there.
For sure.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, look, man, it's been I think we pushed over an hour, man. It is like Al said, I don't know where it went, but it went, man. So
we got to have you back.
Gotta have you back, brother. I think we only scratched the surface, man. But
yes,
tell everybody where they can find you on the socials and all that good stuff, man.
Yep. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram you can find me at Don Rob ROB BBQ on Facebook and Instagram. And then also you can check out my website at www.donrobbbq.com.
My man. Alton, tell them where they can find you, brother.
Well, you're going to find me.
Smack in the middle of Barbecue Boulevard.
Hey, I was about to say, you're going to find me at Erica's event eating on that Mexican street corn salad that Don is going to be bringing and making or whatever. I'm going to be there with a big old bowl of that. So that's where you're going to find me. No, hey, guys, you can find me, the Dawgfatha's Barbecue, DAWGFATHAS BBQ. Find me on all your social medias, and also the Dawgfatha's Barbecue at Gmail if you want to holler at me. So get at me.
My man. Of course, everybody, y'all can find me and my luxurious mane all over the place at BKC Cooks. Hey, brother. Look, it's undeniable, man. It's right here on video. I don't even understand what the problem is. But yes, y'all can find me everywhere except for the X or Twitter, whatever that is. I don't do that. And also, y'all, look, Black Smoke Barbecue is all over the place on social media. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, TikTok. I mean, the threads. I believe we're everywhere. So look up Black Smoke Barbecue, and that's where y'all will find us. And y'all, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Don, we appreciate you jumping on here, brother. We wish you all the success in the world with your new operation, man. We're very happy for you, brother. And we appreciate all y'all watching and listening. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. Later.
We out.
Later.